Hello students, welcome to my channel Positron. I give you all a very warm welcome. And in class 12, it's a beginning of journey with you all. Dear students, my channel is dedicated to give you the best possible content in the physics. And today's topic I'm Dr. Ranjan Kumar. This is my channel Positron. And today's my topic, this is the first topic in 12th standard. This topic is dedicated to charge. What charge is? Dear students, I have decided to provide the best possible content to all those who are preparing for ITJ, Mains, Advanced, NEET and other competitive examinations. Dear students, I am beginning my journey with you all with the charge. That what the charge is. This is a branch of physics we are going to study called electromagnetism. Actually, the electricity has two parts. One is the electrostatics. The electric has two parts. One is the electrostatics and another is the electromagnetism. Electrostatics is that part of physics in which we study about the behavior of a static charge. If a charge is static, then what can it do? That we study. So the first one is the first part of electric is a electric charge, that is electrostatics we are going to study. Dear students, whenever it is asked that what the charge is, you describe it, the electron, proton and neutron. I am not beginning from that. The matter is divided into 5 states. That is, what are the states of matter? It's a solid, liquid, gas, plasma and Bose-Einstein condensation. In all the 5 states, whether it is a solid, liquid, gas, plasma or Bose-Einstein condensation, it does not matter. All of them are made of molecules. Molecules are further divided into atoms, and atoms are further divided into electron, proton, neutron. These electron, proton and neutron are said to be the fundamental particles. Why these are called to be the fundamental particles? These cannot be broken further. Electron, proton and neutron cannot be broken further. So they are called to be the fundamental particles. Dear students, if we say that electron, proton and neutron are the particles cannot be broken further, then they are called fundamental particles. I mean to say, if the definition of fundamental particles is that the particle which cannot be broken further is called fundamental particle, then no doubt neutron is not a fundamental particle because neutron has a lifetime. Let us talk about these charges. Dear students, Indians and world across the globe has witnessed the knowledge of charge since thousands of years. People were known about the charge, but they were not known that how the charge can be useful to the human life, how it can be used in our life. It is not that the Thomas Alva Edison has first enlightened the bulb in New York in 1890. Actually, we were known to the charge, and all across the globe, many people were known to the charge before the Edison, even 1,000 years before people were known. Even in India, in our Vedas, the word of Anu, Parmanu, these are the Hindi terms used for atom and molecules. So we were also known about the charge, but nobody was known that how the charge can be used in our daily life, can be used for beneficial of humanity. Dear students, just I have said that the fundamental particles are electron, proton and neutron. Electron is a, this, if you consider the atom, if you talk about the atom, then it is a nucleus. Nucleus is consisting neutron plus proton. That is why it is said to be the nucleon. And electrons are revolving in different closed and circular orbits around the nucleus. Nucleus, the most dense part of atom, that is consisting neutron and proton, called altogether neutron and proton are called to be the nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in different closed and circular orbits. Dear students, very sure I am not going to discuss with you on the atomic model at all, but we have to discuss about the charge. Now, dear students, you can imagine that electron was the first discovered particle, and that was discovered, electron was the first discovered particle in 1898 by J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson. Mass of electron works out to be 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg, and charge of electron is a minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Dear students, what I have said, that electron was the first discovered particle in 1898 by J.J. Thomson. The mass of electron works out to be 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. And charge of the electron is minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. And then in 1912, Rutherford and Wollaston discovered proton, and proton was discovered in 1912. Mass of proton works out to be 1.0076 AMU. AMU is an atomic mass unit. 1 AMU is equal to 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. Dear students, at the atomic level, masses are measured in a very important unit, that is called to be AMU, atomic mass unit. 1 AMU works out to be 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. And charge of the proton, undoubtedly that is equal to the charge of electron, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, that is equal to the magnitude of electron, but electron is a negative charge and proton is a positive charge. And the latest discovered particle was in 1932, James Chadwick discovered the neutron, and by the name it is clear it comes from neutron because it do not possess any charge. So it is called, from the neutron the word has been derived, neutron. And the mass of neutron, you can know, that works out to 1.0081 AMU, near about this. If you compare the electron, proton and neutron, you will look that neutron is the heaviest one and electron is the lightest particle among all these three, neutron, proton and electron. Dear students, if you talk about that, what the charge is, sometimes you might be asked that what the charge is, then we do not have answer actually. We say the charges are two types, one is a positive charge and there is a negative charge. Why electron is negative, why proton is negative, nobody knows. Simply that I am a Dr. Ranjan Kumar and my dad put my name Dr. Ranjan, that is sufficient, there is no reason behind it. Similarly, negative charge is called to be the electron and positive charge is called to be the proton. Dear student, from the figure it is clear that if you look at the atomic model, neutron and proton are lying within the nucleus and electron is revolving in different closed and circular orbits. Is it, look that it's very tough to knock out the proton. You cannot get out the proton from nucleus. To get out the proton from nucleus, it needs a big amount of energy because it is bounded by binding energy forces. So, but it's very easy to get the electron out from the outermost orbit. That is why when you say that a charge is transferred from one point to other point or from one body to other body, either positive charge is transferred or negative charge is transferred. It does not matter. There is a transfer of electron always. If a body transfers electron from it to other body, then because negative charge will decrease, let it is a body A and it is a body B. From here to here electron has been transferred, so it will become negative and it will become positive. Why? Because negative charge is decreasing here, so it will turn positive, and negative charge is increasing here, so it will turn negative. So it means whether a body gets positive charge or gets negative charge depends on that whether it has released the electron, then will turn positive, and if it receives the electron, then it turns negative. And very important, you can analyze that if a body turns positive means it releases the electron, and if electron disappears from it, then its mass will decrease, and it receives the electron, so it turns negative, so its mass will increase because it receives the electron. Dear students, we are simply just talking about the charge. My question is to you are a very important question. Just try to think. Even I do not know the answer of that. That let it is an electron. Then the mass of electron can be recognized very simply. If it is electron, then the mass of electron can be recognized in two ways. Either F equal to m into A or F equal to mg. From these two methods, you can recognize the mass of this. My question is, dear students, to you, let my pen is, it is electron in my hand. And if you want to know its a mass, then its a mass either you can find from F equal to m. This is called to be the inertial mass. And if you find the mass using F equal to m into g, then it is gravitational mass. Now, dear students, question is that you experience the mass from any of two methods. But what the charge limit? What is called the charge limit? If you will ask anyone that what is the charge, then he will simply answer you the charges are divided into two types. One is a positive charge and there is a negative charge. Mass, we can experience the mass, we can experience the weight, but within the electron that has a mass 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Within the electron that has mass 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. What is called charge? Question is very sincere. That mass you can experience, right? Electron has a mass of this, then what is within that? That is called to be the charge. Or what should be the minimum mass of a particle that can have the charge? What should the minimum mass of a particle that can have the charge? Means to attain a charge, what should be the minimum mass of a particle? That is my question, girl. Please think. Okay, dear students, again I am bringing back you on the topic. As I have said that we are studying charge, that what the charge is. Dear students, simply we decide that charge divided into two types. One is negative and there is a positive. There is no reason that why first one is called negative and second one is called positive. Simply because one has been said negative and other was behaving opposite to that, so the other was called positive. In between, if you compare between electron, proton and neutron, then electron is the lightest one and neutron is the heaviest one. Charge of electron and proton is same. Electron is a negative, proton is a positive, but the magnitude of charge is same. Dear students, just I have told you that matter is divided into 5 states. That is solid, liquid, gas, plasma and Bose-Einstein condensation. All the five states are made up of molecules. Molecules are further divided into atom, and atom is further divided into indivisible electron, proton and neutron, and these are said to be the fundamental particles because they cannot be divided further. But just I have told that electron and proton no doubt cannot be divided further, but neutron has a lifetime, a very small lifetime. So neutron is further divided into proton and other particles. So if this definition is true that fundamental particles are those which cannot be divided further, then the neutron is not a fundamental particle. Dear students, it is not only the electron, proton and neutron, more than 65 particles have been discovered so far, which is said to be the fundamental particles. Few I can name: electron, proton, neutron, neutrino, anti-neutron, meson, pi meson, negative meson, lepton, baryon, a lot. More than 65 particles have been discovered so far. Few particles, most of these fundamental particles that I have named are found in cosmic radiation. Basically, they are found in cosmic radiation. Dear students, let us start that what are the properties of charge. First property of charge is additive. Charge is additive. Charge is additive means charge can be easily added with sign. Okay, charge can be easily added with sign. Let a body is having plus 3e charge and another is having minus 4e charge, then total charge will be plus 3 minus 4e, that is minus e, or minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This charge is added means positive and negative charges can be added with the sign. The second very important property, that charge, conservation of charge. Charge is conserved means neither can be created nor can be destroyed. Charge is conserved, neither can be created nor can be destroyed means charge is conserved. Dear students, least but not least, the most important property of charge is quantized. Quantized means Q is equal to N. Charge is quantized. I have said that charge is transferred in terms of electrons only, not in terms of proton. Either you can transfer 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron, 4 electron, 5 electron, or a body can receive same number of electrons, but it cannot transfer the 2.5 electrons, 3.2 electrons. Means the transfer of charge will be in terms of electrons, and that number of electrons will be a complete integer. Q is equal to M, so M is equal to 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. It might be 3 electron, 4 electron, 6 electron, 8 electron, but it cannot be 9.2 electron. So the transfer of charge happens in terms of electron, and the number of electron will be complete integer. So Q is equal to Ne. Q is a total, let total charge transferred is 1 microcoulomb. Question might be asked that if 1 coulomb charge has to be transferred from one body to other body, then how many electrons need to be transferred? But my question is that let 1 coulomb charge is transferred from one body to other body, then how many electrons you have to transfer to make the charge, make the transfer 1 coulomb? So Q is equal to N, or N is equal to Q upon E. Dear students, you have to transfer 1 microcoulomb charge or 1 microcoulomb over charge of electron is at 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Now convert into coulomb, that is 1 into 10 power minus 6 coulomb, and you will get the answer. In this way, you can transfer 1 microcoulomb charge from one body to other body. What I mean to say that transfer of charge happens in terms of electron. So these were the three important properties of charge. That charge is additive, charge is conservative, and third one, and least but not last, most important property, that charge is quantized. Means a charge can be written in terms of electron. Q is any charge in this world can be expressed in terms of electron, that is Q is equal to M into T. Now dear students, how the charge can be transferred? Transfer of charge. The first method is the friction, second is a conduction, third one is induction. When we are talking about the charge of electricity, we must be aware of term conductors of electricity. What are the conductors and non-conductors? We know the silver, gold, iron, aluminium, silver, aluminium, copper are the best electrical conductors. Best electrical conductor, what does mean to this? Means they have very good number of free electrons. Let's talk about aluminium. Let's talk about, it is an aluminium sheet. I have considered here aluminium sheet. So aluminium atoms are distributed in the sheet like this. Here the aluminium atoms are distributed. Now the electron configuration of aluminium is 2 at 3. Outermost orbit is consisting the 3 electrons without doing anything, no excess energy required. These 3 electrons comes out from the aluminium. These 3 electrons, which are the part of outermost orbit of aluminium, comes out automatically without providing any energy. Any excess energy is not provided, and you get these 3 electrons out. So electrons will be like this. They are now, these are the free electrons came from the outermost atom. They are just roaming between the aluminium atoms. They are roaming between the aluminium atoms. These electrons are free electrons, and these electrons are responsible for the conductivity. Okay, for the electrical conductivity, these free electrons are responsible. So dear students, whether it is silver, gold, copper, aluminium, all these are having very good number of free electrons. So they are called to be the good conductors, and bad conductors are insulators which are completely lack of free electron or have very less number of free electrons. Now dear students, there are the 3 methods that how charge can be transferred from one body to other body. First one is a friction, second is a conduction, and third one is a induction. In many books it is written that first we are going to discuss the how using the frictional charge can be transferred from one body to other body. Dear students, in many books it is given that a wood of this is rubbed with a fuller length cloth sheet and a charge is transferred from this, or you just rub the comb in your hair, a charge will be transferred. How many, dear students? The 2 bodies, if they are rubbed, any 2 bodies, whether they are conductor or non-conductor, immaterial, if they are rubbed, then undoubtedly few charge will be transferred from one body to other body. If the 2 bodies, they are rubbed, then a charge will become, electron will be transferred from here to here. If it transfers the electron, electron is transferred from here to here, so it loses the electron, means the body A loses the electron, means loses the negative charge, it will become the positive. It loses 2 electrons, so it will become plus 2e, and if it loses it receives 2 electrons, it will get minus 2e. Okay, it will get plus 2e and it will get minus 2e because it is losing the electron. So it will become lighter, and it is receiving the electron, so it will become heavier. So dear students, for me, an incentive in using the method of friction for transferring the charge, the two bodies, whatever be they, if they are rubbed to each other, then charge will be transferred from one body to other body. And what charge will be transferred? No doubt it is the electron that is part of outermost orbit. Even from inner orbits, you cannot get the electron out. It needs a big amount of energy. So the electron which is transferred from A to B, that is living in outermost orbit of atoms of A, that has been, when A is rubbed with B, when A is rubbed with B, the electrons of outermost orbit of atoms of A, because this is A is a body which has millions of atoms, and every atom has electrons in their outermost orbit. When it is rubbed with this, those electrons from outermost orbits are transferred from here to here. And again I am repeating my verse that if electron is transferred from here to here, it loses the negative charge, so becomes positive. It receives the negative charge, so becomes negative, because it is losing the number of electrons, so it will become lighter, and this will receive the electron, so becomes heavier. Next, second one is conduction. How the charge can be transferred using the conduction? How the charge can be transferred using the conduction? Conduction means the two bodies, either they are in direct contact with each other, or they are joining, they are in contact through a wire. Either, if you want to transfer the charge using the conduction method, then these two bodies, either they are in direct contact with each other, or they are connected through the wires. Now the question is that, dear students, there is a big difference between these two. In the case of friction, charge can be transferred from a non-conductor to non-conductor. So if the two non-conductors are rubbed to each other, even then charge will be transferred. But in the case of conduction, it is true only for the electric conductors. It is not true for the non-conductors. It is true for the electric conductors. It is not true for the insulators at all. This is the difference between the friction and conduction method. In the friction method, charge can be transferred between the two conductors and between the two insulators also just by rubbing to each other, because there is no need of conduction, whether they are conductor or not. It does not matter. If they are rubbed, then charge will be transferred from one to other. But in case of conductor method, in conduction method, this is true only for that the two bodies A and B should be conducted. Either they are in direct contact with each other, or they are connected through the wire, then charge will be transferred. How? Dear students, if you say that positive charge will be transferred, my question is that why the charge will be transferred? If you put water at flow, then what happens? Water will flow because of pressure difference. In similar way, you can say that charge will flow because of potential difference. Heat current will flow because of temperature difference. What I am saying, I am again repeating my verse, that water flows because of pressure difference. Electric charge flows or current flows because of potential difference, and heat current flows because of temperature difference. My question is that if the two conductors A and B are connected to each other, then why the charge will flow and in which direction will flow? First question, the answer to first question is that why the charge will flow is it will flow because of potential difference between the two. What is the potential difference? We will talk later on in the next topic. Now, and how much charge will flow? That will depend determine that what is the potential difference between the two. Dear student, positive charge flows from higher potential to lower potential. Positive charge flows from higher potential to lower potential, and converse is true. The negative charge flows from lower potential to higher potential. If it is at higher potential, it is at lower potential, then positive charge flow from A to B. If it is at lower potential, it is at higher potential, then negative charge flow from lower potential to higher potential. So that I have asked that why the charge will flow between the two conductors if they are connected to each other. The charge will flow because of potential difference between the two. And positive charge flows from higher potential to lower potential, and negative charge flows from lower potential to higher potential. And up to what time, up to what extent the charge will be transferred from A to B, the transfer of charge will take place till then both the bodies come to the same potential. The transfer of charge will take place till then the two bodies come to the same potential. Dear students, so in the friction I have told that the two bodies are either electrical conductor or non-conductor. Is immaterial if they are rubbed, the charge will be transferred from one body to other body. In the conduction, the charge will be transferred only when the two bodies are conductor. And third one is induction. This is a very important, this is the most important method of charging a body, that induction. Dear students, friction is the only method, just replace. Dear student, friction is only method in which charge can be transferred from one body to other body despite they are electrically non-conductor or insulator. But in the case of conductor and insulator, in the case of charging by conduction and induction, this is true only for the conductors. If the charge can be transferred only in the conductors using either by conduction or by induction. What is the method of induction? In the conduction, what we are doing, we are just bringing the two bodies either in directly contact or they are connected through the wire, and charge was transferred because of potential difference. Positive charge was transferred from higher potential to lower potential. Negative charge was transferred from lower potential to higher potential. Dear student, in the method of induction, it is not that two bodies are not bringing contact with each other. This is a body A. It is positively charged body. It is positively charged body. Right? Let A is a positively charged body. Dear student, this is a B. It is neutral, but B is a neutral, but it is an electrical conductor. It is a conductor to the electricity. Means it has the free electron. What is means of neutral? B is also A is also aluminum and B is also aluminum. Then again I am taking same example. It is aluminum. Aluminum has electronic configuration 2 8 3. These 3 electrons came out automatically from outermost atom. So aluminum becomes +3, but the minus 3 electrons comes out and they are roaming between the aluminum atoms. Now dear students, if you write +3 -3, that is 0. Means electrically neutral does not mean that it do not have the charge. Yes, it has the charge, but total sum of positive and negative is 0. It is consisting of free electron, but that is distributed randomly. Dear students, now the two bodies we have considered, A and B, both are electrically conductive. A has a positive charge distributed on its surface and B is a neutral. Neutral does not mean it do not have the charge, it has the free electrons. Dear student, this positive charge will attract the negative charge, will attract the free electron. That is why I am saying that it should be conductor. What is the difference between the conductor and non-conductor or insulator? Conductor has the charge free electrons that can travel within the conductor anywhere. Freely they can travel. But in the case of non-conductor, electron, despite you will give the charge, you can inject the charge, you can penetrate the charge, but it will not move from one point to other point in the non-conductor. So it is, this is a positive charge, positively charged body, and B is a electrically neutral body. Neutral does not mean is total charge, it despite neutral, it is consisting the free electrons. Now it will, this positive charge will attract the free electrons to us. So it will, the front will show negative. But dear student, before the A, it was electrically neutral. So no any reaction is happening at all. No any chemical reaction is happening. So again it will be nucleus. So whatever negative charge is here, same amount of positive charge will be distributed here. And if you will just add these two, it will become again electrically neutral. What I mean to say, that when the body was not brought before the A, it was electrically neutral. As soon as it is brought before A, which is positively charged body, the free electrons will be attracted towards positive, so it will become, the front of it will behave like a negative charge, because before bringing to the A, it was electrically neutral. So the opposite side again will behave like a positive, and if you take the A out, if you take A far from it, then again this negative and positive will mix to each other and will make it electrically neutral. But dear students, it means you cannot permanently charge the body B using this method. Now, but you want to charge B permanently by using the induction method. How you can do? Problem is that if you remove the body A, then negative charge mixed with positive charge and body becomes neutral. If one of either positive or negative is destroyed, then what will happen? The only negative or positive charge will be left, and when the body A is removed from here, then that charge will be distributed, and this will become the permanently charged. In order to do that, what we do? In order to charge permanently by the induction to body B, what we do? We are just grounding this portion. What does mean grounding a body? Grounding a body means there are billions of free electrons. Earth is consisting, dear student, Earth is consisting billions of free electrons. If there is a positive charge, then electron will come from here and neutralize this. And if there is a negative charge, then it will automatically go to the Earth. So in both the cases, whether it is having a positive charge or negative charge, if you will ground, the charge will balance. If there is a positive charge, then electron from the Earth will travel and destroy it, and if it is having the negative charge, it will automatically travel to the Earth. So in both the cases, whether it is consisting positive charge or negative charge, if it is grounded, ultimately it has to vanish. Suppose this positive charge has been grounded, so positive charge, this part has been grounded, so positive charge will be destroyed, and now remove this and remove this ground also, and so this negative charge will be distributed uniformly, and now it is a permanently charged. Dear students, I hope you all are enjoying my class. If you think that my classes are going to be beneficial, please and please comment, share, subscribe, and put the bell icon so you can be informed about my new videos. Thank you listening me with utmost patience. Thank you, Liz Butler class. Very much thanks to you. I'll meet you in our next video.